Welcome to the Queer Confidence Podcast, the podcast to help you become your most confident queer self. I'm your host, he, she, they, Coach Alex Ray, and I haven't always been this confident. In fact, I used to be super insecure. And through this show, I want to share with you what's worked for me, my clients, and my guests so that you can become more confident. Hello, my unicorns. Welcome back. Are you just loving this special bonus series we're doing right now? I'm loving interviewing these guests, and we've got 2 more left for you. So, May, what a treat this month has been. I've really been enjoying this, and I hope you are too. And I've got a special surprise plan for you for Pride Month as well. Stay tuned for that. All right, today we're going to talk about beliefs, getting rid of negative thoughts. Sorry, what the hell am I talking about? We're going to be talking about getting rid of negative thoughts. And the reason that I said beliefs is because I was looking at my notes, and we are talking about beliefs because in case you've missed it, I believe I've talked about it here on the podcast before, but let's just refresh. Beliefs are just thoughts that we keep thinking over and over. Beliefs are just very practiced, very familiar, very automatic thoughts. That's it. So when we're talking about getting rid of negative thoughts, usually what you're trying to get rid of is beliefs that keep coming up for you, right? And so some of those things might be, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I'm doing it wrong. And those 3 in particular are very common human beliefs. Things that are kind of ingrained in us that show up with various flavors every now and then, depending on the situation we're in. And so, first, just know that and have a little compassion for yourself, okay? But second, let's talk about how to change it, right? So this is relevant for you if you are noticing that you're having thoughts like, I'm not attractive enough to be noticed. Or even I actually coached a business owner once on this. He thought that he was not attractive enough to be kind of the face of his own brand. And I think that's just so unfortunate in our queer community that is even a thing, right? That we are really pushing for liberation, yet we also know that the reality is many of our family members in the community are not really fully accepting, and we judge based on looks, okay? But we're not here with an ability to change how the other people think and operate. And what I want to offer to you is that most of them, the majority of our community, actually are not assholes like that. Only some of them. So let it be. Just let's let them be. And let's get back to your thoughts about you, right? So you might have a belief that I'm not attractive enough to be noticed or taken seriously or to make it. We might have beliefs about other people like no gay men really want to have a long-term relationship. All they want is hookups. Again, just a thought, not a fact. Or these could be also beliefs about the world, like I can't work in that industry because I'm gay. I won't be accepted in that industry. I'll never make it. Wherever these negative thoughts are directed, whether they are directed at you, at other people, or at the world, there's one way and only one way to actually get rid of negative thoughts. Are you ready? It's to stop resisting and fighting them. Because the more that you resist and fight them, the stronger they grow. Those negative beliefs that we have were useful for us at one time. They were helpful for us at one time in our life. They didn't come out of nowhere. So what if you decided to try giving a little gratitude towards those beliefs? Thank you. You were there to protect me when I was a kid. You were there to protect me from a perceived danger. I hear you. I'm okay. You can be there. Now, I want to give you a brilliant example. You all know Gideon, my dog. And he is an attention hog. Oh my goodness. Always wanting attention. Kind of just like our inner child. And he will bark when he wants something. And he will bark. I can't speak. He will bark some more and more and more. And you know what? It annoys the shit out of me. And typically I start screaming, "Shut up! Shut up!" Doesn't work. Right? He just stands there and he keeps barking. And then sometimes I try yelling louder, and that doesn't work. What actually works, what actually helps restore the quiet that I'm seeking is when I get off my lazy ass and I go play with him. When I give him attention, when I pet him, when I just go and I show up for him, when I give him the care and attention that he's craving and asking for by barking. Yeah, the bark is annoying, but it's there also to communicate something. Your negative thoughts, yeah, they're annoying, but they're there to tell you something. And the more that you ignore them, and the more that you tell them to shut up and go away, and you try to cover them up, the louder they get. And the more they bother you. And the more they keep you from being able to have the life that you want. So most of the messaging that we see out there is usually telling us to be working on new thoughts. Get rid of your negative thoughts. Get rid of the negative thoughts. Think positive, think positive, think positive. The problem is, though, your brain is not ready to go from I'm garbage to I'm the most amazing thing ever. It's not ready to go from I'm poor, I don't know how to get by to I'm a millionaire. And so sometimes we end up actually hurting ourselves by using vision boards and positive affirmations and things that we're really not ready to believe yet. We use them against ourselves. We start saying, look, everyone else is saying that they believe this stuff, and I can't believe it. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with my belief that I can't just believe these things? And there we go. Then we're right back into the negative self-talk all over again. So what's helpful here is to first Be grateful for those thoughts that they served you at one time in your life. They're just coming from your inner Gideon who wants attention, from your inner child who wants to make sure that he's seen and heard and cared for. She wants to know she's safe. They want to be held and loved and allowed to just be. So the first step in changing or getting rid of negative thoughts is to allow them without resistance and without judgment. Now, you can notice them much easier if you actually start writing them down on paper and start observing them. That really helps. Another thing that really helps is actually going on a walk and being with them. Whatever you do, observe them without using a distraction like scrolling or Netflix. That is not sitting with your thoughts. Those are distractions. I mean, literally sitting in silence with nothing to do but allow the thoughts to show up. And you can write them down or go on that walk and just allow them to show up. Give them a hug. Hey, I see you. You're safe. It's okay. And then, once they're reminded that they are safe, once I remind Gideon, hey, I see you, then we can also go to a neutral place. So instead of I'm the worst, I suck, I'll never make it, something neutral is I am. I exist. I'm human. Instead of I'm a failure, I'm learning. I'm living. I'm having experiences. Instead of I'm not enough, I'm me. I'm unique. I'm human. Find the most neutral thought that you can get to. It does not have to be positive. And then once you're more comfortable with that neutral thought, then you can actually decide what you want to think on purpose. But only from that neutral space. Because otherwise your inner child, again, your inner Gideon, is so concerned with just being noticed that you're not going to get the opportunity to even explore any other thought. I don't recommend jumping through these in one day. Give yourself time. That's okay. Nothing actually takes time, by the way. Time is not an ingredient that's needed for this, right? Nowhere in this process of observing the negative thought, finding a neutral thought, and then exploring a positive one, nowhere in there does it say, and wait 5 minutes. Like, that's not a part of the recipe. But you have to allow yourself to be actually fully present and in a step before you're ready to move on to the next one. Which means it might take you a few hours. It might take you a few months. It might take you a few years. But I promise you, you will have some relief by just getting to the place where you're not judging your thoughts, where you're not shaming yourself for shaming yourself, because that's just so much unnecessary negative talk layered on top of what's already there. Watch out that you're not trying to hate yourself into change. So, my friend, getting rid of negative thoughts, I just want to give you a heads up, is not possible. It is not possible to get rid of 100% of them forever. You are going to notice them coming up. I still find myself having thoughts and then realizing that layered underneath, there are thoughts of, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I'm doing it wrong. I'm like, oh my gosh, here it is again. It's just showing up with a new flavor. When I was a kid, I'm doing it wrong was like, art class. Now it's, I'm doing it wrong with my dog parenting. I'm doing it wrong with how I spend my time. I'm doing it wrong with the amount of money I make. I'm doing it wrong with how I podcast. They're going to keep coming up for you. And so if you keep demonizing them, they're just going to be stronger, right? So as you notice any kind of negative thoughts coming up, the lesson today is to, 1, know that they're normal and know that they're human and know that they are okay to be there. To 2, allow them to be there and actually give them attention like you would your best friend who's hurting and in pain. Know that those thoughts served you once upon a time. They were helpful for you, and it's just your inner child asking for some attention. Or maybe a saboteur, again, asking for attention. Give it what it needs. 3, then once it's satisfied, then look for the neutral thought. Look for the actual neutral place that you can be. I'll give you another quick example here. So if you have a lot of negative thoughts about your body, you're not ready to go from I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm undesirable to I'm sexy, right? So just observe the body parts neutrally on this step. I have a leg. I have a thigh. I have a stomach. Maybe that's too triggering. Maybe belly is better. Maybe that's triggering. Maybe I have a torso. Find the words that aren't charged for you, okay? 4, once you're actually believing and able to sit in that neutral place, then decide what you'd like to start thinking on purpose. And practice it. Practice, I like you. I like you, body. I'm doing pretty well at this. Practice them over and over again on purpose. And then 5, be ready for them to show up in a new way in probably a different area. It's just a new flavor of the same underlying belief. That's okay. That's okay. I promise you, once you have gone through this process once, the next time it gets easier and easier and easier and easier and easier. Each time it compounds because you start observing going, oh my gosh, there it is again. And I kind of laugh now when I see it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was having that belief I'm doing it wrong again. Okay, hold on. I got it. Never mind. I know what to do here. I'm good. And it does not freak my brain out anymore now. It's possible for you too. All right, my friend. If you enjoyed this episode, I want to remind you, please share it with a friend. And if you haven't yet, I would love for you to leave a review on Apple Podcasts. These things really help the podcast reach more people. And with your help, we're going to help heal this queer community. We are going to help all the LGBTQIA plus people in the world become confident in their authentic selves. Have an amazing week, my friend. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye. If you enjoyed this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend so they too can become more confident. You can also help more people find the show by leaving a 5-star review wherever you listen. And if you want to become a more confident queer with support from yours truly, head to coachalexray.com or use the link down in the show notes. I'm looking forward to working with you.